Hey guys, tonight we're going to talk about what it was really like to be a caveman. And I mean really, not the cartoon version with clubs and grunting, but the actual day-to-day life of people who lived 25,000 years ago. Picture it. The air is freezing, and you're lying on a bed made of rough grass and animal skins. You're in a dark cave, the dampness in the air biting at your skin. But there's no time for that now. You've got to get up. There's work to be done. It's a lot harder than just rolling over and pressing the snooze button. Oh, and just so you know, you probably won't survive this. But it's a good thing we're just here for the ride. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, I'm curious where you're all listening from. Drop a comment with your location and what time it is there. Always blows my mind how people are falling asleep to this all over the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first thing you're aware of as you wake up is the cold. It's a bone-deep chill that grips you before your eyes even open. The cave is dark, and the air feels thick with dampness. It's that kind of cold, the kind that makes your teeth chatter, your bones ache, and your body tense as if it's trying to conserve every bit of warmth it can. You roll over on the rough patch of grass that's your bed, but it's useless. Your body never quite warms up. Now, don't expect comfort here. There's no fluffy pillow to nestle into, no soft blankets to wrap yourself in. Your bed is made of whatever you could scrounge together: dried grasses, leaves, and animal skins, roughly piled in a corner. There's no Tempur-Pedic waiting for you here. In fact, your bed is about as comfortable as a bed of nails, only less pointy. It's a patchwork of wild materials that offer little in the way of warmth or comfort. And trust me, you'll get used to it. But the cold? That's a different story. It sticks with you all morning long, as if the cave itself is trying to remind you that nature doesn't care about your comfort. The cave walls, rough, jagged stone, hold in the chill, keeping the heat of any fire from ever fully reaching you. It's not a place you choose to sleep. But then again, there are no choices. You just make do, because that's how survival works. It's time to face the day. You pull yourself up from your uncomfortable bed, and the first thing you do is stretch, your body cracking in all the wrong places, the muscles tight from the cold, from the hard ground. But you don't have time to linger. You're not the only one here. The others in your tribe are already stirring, readying themselves for what the day will bring. You have to light the fire. And that's not as easy as flipping a switch or turning a dial. You grab the stones that will help you get a spark, the dry twigs you've saved from last night's fire. You're trying not to shake from the cold, your hands stiff as they work to get the tinder just right. You rub the sticks together, hoping to create enough friction to spark a flame. You've done this 1,000 times. But it doesn't always work. If it doesn't, you'll be stuck in the dark and the cold until the sun comes up. The fire isn't just a luxury, it's survival. It's warmth, it's light, and if you're lucky, it'll cook your food. More importantly, it will keep predators at bay. You're part of a tribe, but that doesn't mean you're safe. The cave may protect you from the weather, but it doesn't stop the lions, the wolves, the bears from wanting to make a meal of you. The fire finally catches, and you lean over it, letting the warmth seep into your stiff fingers. You feel a little better now, but you know it won't last long. This warmth will only extend as far as the flames, and the rest of the cave is still as cold as ever. You glance around at the others in your tribe, knowing they're facing the same challenges. Today, you'll need to go out and gather food. But before you even think about breakfast, you've got something else to do. The fire won't keep itself going. You'll need to add more wood, tend to it, or else it'll fizzle out just when you need it most. You'll have to keep it alive through the day. After all, there's no way you're going to walk away from the fire for too long. You know how dangerous it is. And the fire isn't the only danger. The world outside the cave is full of threats, predators, rival tribes, disease, and the ever-changing elements. But you can't stay here forever. No one can. Eventually, the tribe will need to move, searching for food, for shelter, for a place to rest their heads for the night. But now, It's time to eat. You step outside, squinting against the early morning light. The air is cold but crisp, the kind of chill that makes your skin tingle as you inhale deeply. There's a slight mist hanging in the air, but it's not enough to stop you from focusing on the task at hand: food. Foraging for breakfast isn't like heading down to the market for a loaf of bread. It's a hit or miss kind of deal, and today, the odds aren't in your favor. Your options are limited to what nature provides, and it doesn't provide much in the way of variety. You might find some wild berries, if you're lucky, or roots if you're willing to dig around for them. But you know not all plants are safe to eat. The last thing you need is an upset stomach, or, worse, poisoning. Your ancestors weren't exactly experts in botany, so they had to learn the hard way. Some plants might look harmless, but could easily send you to your death. That's why, when you're out there, you're cautious. You stay close to the areas you know best. And let's not forget about the bugs. Don't get excited. This isn't some kind of paleo diet where you're crunching on protein-packed insects like some Instagram influencer. The truth is, bugs are your backup plan. If the berries aren't ripe, if the roots are too tough, then it's time to start hunting for insects, ants, beetles, and maybe a grasshopper if you're lucky. They're a little crispy, a little crunchy, but they'll fill the gap in your stomach. Not exactly what you'd call gourmet, but it'll do the job for now. But wait, your stomach growls again. Time's ticking, and you need something more substantial. You've got to head deeper into the woods to find some real food, something that can actually sustain you for the day. As you make your way into the dense underbrush, the sounds of the forest start to fade, replaced by the constant hum of your own thoughts. You know you've got to stay sharp. A predator could be lurking around any corner. One wrong move, and you could end up on the other end of the food chain. Hunting isn't as simple as grabbing a spear and charging into the wild. It takes patience, stealth, strategy. You've got to know the animal, understand its habits, and wait for the right moment. If you're lucky, you might spot a deer or a wild boar. If not, it could be a long, frustrating day of chasing smaller prey, birds, rabbits, anything that moves and is small enough for your spear to handle. But it's not just about spearing an animal and calling it a day. You've got to make the kill quickly and efficiently. Wounds aren't forgiving in the wild. You can't afford to waste time. The longer you're out there, the more your body starts to wear down. And worse, the longer you're away from the fire, the more vulnerable you are to the cold. It's hours before you finally catch a break. You've been tracking a wild boar for what feels like an eternity, silently following its muddy trail through thick brush. The sun is climbing higher, and though it's still early, the heat is starting to kick in. Your body's aching, your muscles sore from the constant tension of sneaking through the wilderness. Your stomach growls again, reminding you that foraging just wasn't enough today. Suddenly you spot it. The boar. It's standing still, nibbling on some grass just out of your reach. It's bigger than you thought, a heavy-set creature with tusks that could do serious damage if it charges. You pause, assessing the situation. A lot of things can go wrong in a hunt like this. One wrong move and it could escape, or worse, it could turn on you. You crouch lower, your fingers tightening around the spear. You've been here before, and you know the rules: patience, precision, and perfect timing. You don't want to miss. You wait. The boar moves closer, and you get ready. You can feel your heart pounding in your chest, the adrenaline kicking in. The world narrows down to just you and this beast. Then, without warning, you leap. The spear is thrust forward, and for a heartbeat, everything freezes. Did you hit? The boar stumbles, squealing as it tries to run. It's not dead, not yet, but you've wounded it. You take off after it, moving as quickly as you can through the underbrush, trying to get ahead of its escape route. You hear its hooves crashing against the earth, and your own feet pound against the ground as you close the distance. You can't let it get away. It's your food for the day, maybe for the next few days, and you can't afford to lose it. It's a brutal chase, but eventually you catch up. With one last effort, you drive the spear into its side, and this time, the boar falls. It's over. You've made the kill. It's not glamorous, but it's a victory. You take a deep breath, standing over your catch, your body trembling with exhaustion. It's a lot of work to bring down something as big as a boar, but you know it's worth it. This will feed your tribe for the next several days, at least. You drag the animal back to the cave, the weight of it heavy on your shoulders. The sun is starting to dip behind the trees, and it's already getting dark. You're tired, your arms aching, but you know you can't rest yet. There's more work to be done. As you approach the fire, the other members of your tribe greet you with quiet nods. They know what you've done. They don't need to say much. The boar is a big deal. They'll help you dress it, skin it, and get it ready to cook. Your job's done for the day, at least the hard part. But there's still more to this than just the hunt. You're going to need fire to cook the meat. You'll need to keep that fire going, or it won't cook properly, and you'll be stuck with raw, tough meat. It's not something you want to deal with after a long day like this. So you add more wood to the fire, letting the flames lick at the sky, feeling a sense of relief as the warmth wraps around you. As the fire crackles and pops, the smell of roasting meat fills the air, mingling with the earthy scents of the surrounding forest. The tribe gathers around, the warm glow of the flames casting flickering shadows on their faces. You feel a slight sense of camaraderie, though unspoken, it's there. Everyone's contributed today, in one way or another. Some of the others have foraged for berries, others have gathered wood, and you've brought in the big prize. But the day's work isn't over. It's easy to think that a successful hunt means an end to the struggle, but no. The food still needs to be prepared, the meat carefully cut and roasted. It's a labor-intensive process, one that demands patience. There are no shortcuts. The fire's heat will make the meat tender, but it'll also take time to cook thoroughly. If it's undercooked, it's practically inedible. If it's overcooked, it'll be tough as leather. But the real challenge comes next, the risk of attracting predators. As you sit by the fire, gnawing on a tough, smoky piece of boar, your eyes are constantly scanning the perimeter of the camp. You've been out here long enough to know that predators don't respect your hard work. They'll take advantage of any opportunity. The smell of roasted meat will carry for miles, and you can bet that the wolves, the big cats, and maybe even a bear will be sniffing the air, trying to find where the feast is. It's a constant game of vigilance. While your body is tired, your mind remains alert. You can't afford to lose track of time. One moment of inattention, and you could find yourself staring down a hungry predator. Everyone in the tribe knows this. Even the youngest children understand the need for caution. Your eyes flicker to the trees surrounding the camp. There's movement out there, something shifting in the shadows, but it's just the wind rustling through the branches. For a brief moment, you feel the weight of survival, the constant edge that comes with living in a world where everything, from the food on your plate to the air you breathe, feels temporary. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's something about this time, the quiet nights spent around the fire, the shared effort of survival, that builds a sense of unity, a bond stronger than words. In a world full of dangers, you and your tribe depend on one another. You may fight over small things, who gets the last piece of meat or the best place to sleep, but when it comes down to it, you're in this together. And that, for all the hardship and struggle, is a kind of peace. The meat is ready. You grab your portion, tearing into it with your hands, savoring the warmth and the flavor. It's not a fancy meal. It's simple, raw, and real. But it's yours. You earned it. As the fire burns low and the night settles in, the tribe begins to drift off to sleep, one by one. But not you. Not tonight. There's something in the air, an unsettled feeling. Maybe it's just the cold creeping back into your bones. Or maybe it's the ever-present anxiety that comes with living so close to the edge of survival. You glance around at your tribe, sleeping soundly despite the threat of danger. They're safe for now. But tomorrow is another day, another challenge to face. You roll over on your bed of grass and animal skins, feeling the roughness against your skin, and pull the furs around you for warmth. The cold is creeping back in, but at least for now, you're surrounded by the firelight and the sounds of the tribe, living, breathing, struggling, but surviving. Tomorrow, you'll do it all over again. The hunt, the fire, the food, the danger. And you'll be ready. You have to be. You wake to the sound of the forest coming alive. Birds chirp overhead, and the distant rustle of animals moving through the brush fills the quiet morning. The fire has long since burned out, leaving behind a faint, lingering smell of smoke that clings to your clothes and skin. The cold from the night still hangs in the air, but it's the warmth of the sun breaking over the horizon that starts to push it away. The tribe is stirring, too. The older members are already up, tending to the fire or gathering what's left of last night's meal. There's no time to waste. If you're going to survive, there's work to be done. The animals aren't going to hunt themselves, and the days are short. You stretch, the muscles in your back and shoulders protesting, but you don't have time to linger. Every day feels like a race against time, a relentless push to find food, shelter, and safety before the sun sets and the cold comes rushing back in. The hunt begins again. You and a few others from the tribe set off toward the forest, each of you carrying a spear. The trees are thick here, and the underbrush is dense. The ground is uneven, and your feet sink into the soft earth as you walk, the mud sticking to your skin and weighing you down. It's exhausting, but you push on. The animals you're after don't just walk up to you, they're smart. They know how to hide, how to run, and how to stay out of your reach. This time, you're after something smaller, but faster, a rabbit, perhaps, or maybe a bird. Something that won't take as much energy to chase down, but still provide a decent meal. You move quietly, your breath coming in slow, measured exhalations. The more noise you make, the more likely the prey will hear you coming and run off. You rely on your instincts, your senses heightened, scanning every nook and cranny for signs of life. And then you spot it. A small rabbit, nibbling on the grass, unaware of your presence. You freeze. Your muscles lock into place as you prepare for the strike. Slowly, you draw your spear back. It feels heavy in your hand, but this is your moment. One wrong move and the rabbit is gone. The moment feels endless. The world narrows down to just you and the prey in front of you. You take a deep breath and then, with all the speed you can muster, you thrust the spear forward. There's a sharp crack as it hits its mark, the rabbit letting out a squeal before it collapses. It's not the boar from yesterday, but it's enough. It's food. You stand there for a moment, letting the rush of success wash over you. The hunt is over, and you've won. You're not going to starve today. But there's still the matter of getting back to the camp, of preparing the meal, and keeping watch for predators that might have caught wind of the kill. The work is never done, but for now, you can breathe. You make your way back, the small body of the rabbit clutched in your hand, feeling its warmth still. When you return to the tribe, they nod in acknowledgement, the ritual of the hunt playing out in practiced silence. The fire is rekindled, and as you add the meat to it, the familiar crackle fills the air once more. Dinner is coming, and it's not just food, it's survival. The tribe gathers around, eating together. The flames dance in the evening air, casting flickering shadows against the stone walls of your cave. The night feels safer when you're surrounded by those who share your struggle, by those who, like you, are doing everything they can to make it through another day. The meat is chewy, not quite as tender as the boar from yesterday, but it's still satisfying. You eat quickly. There's no time to savor every bite when you're all living with one eye on the fire and the other on the dark forest outside. It's always a little uncomfortable, knowing that danger could be just beyond your line of sight. But for now, as the fire warms your skin and the others settle into their makeshift beds, there's a sense of quiet contentment. The hard work of the day is done. But you know tomorrow will bring more of the same. More hunting, more danger, more risk. It's a life that keeps you on edge, never truly settled, always moving forward in search of the next meal, the next shelter, the next day's survival. You close your eyes, the weight of exhaustion pulling you down, but even as you drift off to sleep, you know it's not over. The cycle will start again tomorrow. And you'll be ready. The morning comes early, and with it, the same unyielding routine. The fire's embers glow faintly in the cave's corner, casting long shadows over the dirt floor as the first light breaks through the entrance. You wake, stiff from another night on the hard ground, but there's no time for groaning. No time for lingering in bed. You stretch out your limbs, your body groaning in protest, and stand. Outside, the air is already thick with the bite of the cold, but it'll warm up soon enough. Today's hunt feels different. There's a palpable urgency in the air. The tribe is low on food. The days of easy hunting seem like a distant memory, and you know that if you don't bring back a big kill today, it could spell trouble for everyone. You're not just hunting for yourself anymore. You're hunting for the survival of the whole tribe. You're hunting for tomorrow, for the next few days, for a future that's never certain. As you grab your spear, the weight of it in your hand feels heavier today. There's a strange mix of pressure and determination in your chest as you set off into the forest. Your mind is clear but filled with an undercurrent of tension. It's not just about the kill, it's about the future, the promise of more days, more fire, more food. The hunt is always a gamble, but today, it feels like a bet with higher stakes. You head deeper into the woods, the ground damp beneath your feet, the brush thick around you. The hunt today isn't about stealth, it's about persistence. You push through the undergrowth, your eyes constantly scanning, ears tuned for any movement, any sign of prey. The forest is eerily quiet, as if it too knows that today is different. After what feels like hours of searching, you finally spot something, a deer. Not the biggest, but still a worthy prize. It's grazing in the clearing ahead, its head lowered, unaware of your presence. This is it. This is your moment. You crouch low, staying perfectly still, your heart pounding in your chest. You know you've got to time this just right. One false move, one broken twig, and the deer will bolt. You adjust your grip on the spear, your fingers itching to throw it, but you hold back. Patience. You wait. The deer moves closer. Closer. You can almost hear the beating of its heart. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, you rise and throw the spear. It's a perfect shot. The deer stumbles, and for a moment you think you've missed. But no, it's down. You've done it. It's a feeling like no other. The adrenaline rush, the quiet triumph, the sense that, just for today, you've won the game. But as you approach the animal, something shifts. You notice the blood already pooling around its body, the reality of your actions settling in. This was not a fight, but a swift, controlled death. You've taken a life, and with it, the promise of food for your people. There's no time to think about it for too long. The task at hand is clear. You drag the deer back to camp, a heavy weight on your shoulders. The others see it, and they don't need to say anything. They know the significance. It's not just food, it's hope. You've brought something back that will sustain everyone, keep the tribe strong for a few more days. As the fire is rekindled, you work with the others to skin and gut the animal. It's a messy job, but it's essential. No part of the animal goes to waste. The organs, the meat, even the bones, they'll all be used. There's no room for waste in a world like this. If you don't use everything, you risk going hungry when the next hunt doesn't go as well. The meat cooks slowly over the fire, the scent filling the air. You don't waste time savoring it. There's too much to do. You eat your portion, the warmth of the cooked meat spreading through your body, making you feel momentarily human again. But even as you chew, you're already thinking ahead. You're already thinking about tomorrow and the next hunt, knowing that the balance of survival is fragile. One bad hunt, one illness, one misstep, and it could all come crashing down. The night falls again, but this time, there's a sense of calm in the air. The tribe is fed, the fire is burning brightly, and the predators haven't come sniffing around just yet. The sky is clear, and the stars stretch out above you, distant and cold. You settle down near the fire, feeling the warmth of it seep into your tired body. The work isn't over, but for tonight, it feels like you've done enough. You close your eyes, the crackling of the fire a comforting lullaby, and drift off to sleep, ready to face whatever tomorrow brings. The morning breaks early, the sun's light creeping into the cave as the first birds begin their chorus. You wake, stiff and sore from the cold of the night, but there's no time to linger in the comfort of your sleep. It's the cycle of survival, wake, work, repeat. The fire's embers are still glowing, but you know it won't last long. Without tending, the warmth will die out, and with it, the fragile thread of comfort you've come to rely on. You rise to your feet, the cold air biting at your skin. There's a soft rustling outside the cave. Other members of the tribe are already up, beginning their daily routines. The fire is the first priority for most. But you, today, have something else in mind, a new task. The hunt has been successful, but the future is never guaranteed, and the balance of survival feels more fragile each day. The weather has been changing, too. The wind is colder now, sharper. The season is shifting, and with it comes the need for new shelter. You've all been living in caves, makeshift homes that offer only the barest protection, but the cold is becoming more persistent. It's clear that the cave, while necessary, won't always be enough. The seasons will change, and so must your tribe. It's time to move. You gather with a small group, the air full of a quiet sense of urgency. The others are preparing for a journey, looking for a new place to settle, a new cave, a more secure location where the elements won't be so harsh. Everyone understands the importance of this search. If you don't find a suitable place soon, the cold will make survival even harder than it already is. You pack lightly, taking only what's necessary. A spear. A small bundle of skins and dried plants for food. The essentials. As you move out of the cave, you feel the weight of the change on your shoulders. You're not just leaving the shelter of the familiar, you're heading into unknown territory, and that brings its own dangers. The path forward may be clearer, but the threats are more immediate. Predators. Rival tribes. Harsh weather. It's always a gamble. The journey isn't long, but it feels like it. The landscape is unfamiliar. Trees loom high above, casting shadows that seem to stretch on forever. The ground is uneven and muddy in places, and you can feel the bite of the wind in the air. Your tribe moves in silence, the only sounds the crunch of your feet on the underbrush and the occasional rustle of leaves as animals scurry for cover. It's a strange feeling, being out here, away from the safety of the fire, away from the shelter of the cave. You don't realize how much you rely on that small, flickering flame until it's gone. Hours pass before you spot it, a new cave. It's nestled in a small hill, the entrance partially concealed by overgrown foliage. It's larger than the last one, offering more protection from the wind and rain. There's a sense of relief that washes over you, but it's quickly replaced by caution. You don't know what creatures might already call this place home. And the cave's proximity to water could be a blessing or a curse. There's always the risk of flooding, or worse, attracting predators that live in or around the water. Still, it's the best option you've found today. You and a few others begin clearing the area, dragging branches and rocks to block the entrance. You know it won't be perfect, but it's good enough for now. It's shelter, and that's all that matters. As night falls, you sit around a smaller fire, less of a bonfire and more of a campfire. The warmth is comforting, but it's not the same as the old fire back at the cave. The wind howls outside, and for a moment, you feel a pang of longing for the familiar. But it's time for change. And sometimes, change is necessary for survival. The next few days are spent settling into the new cave, organizing, and making it your own. It's more cramped than the last, but it's safer. You and the others continue to hunt and forage, but the work is harder now. The land doesn't provide as easily as it once did, and the food is scarcer. But there's a sense of determination in the air. You're all in this together, and no matter how hard the days get, you'll keep pushing forward. The cave feels like a temporary home, but it's better than nothing. As you lie down to sleep that night, you realize just how much you've learned in these past months. Every decision has a weight, every action has a consequence. But tomorrow is a new day, a chance to keep going, to keep surviving, and to keep adapting to a world that's constantly changing. The days continue to blur into one another. Time feels different in the wild, as though each day is a continuation of the last. The sky is a permanent feature above you, its changing colors marking the passing hours, but the actual passage of time itself seems irrelevant when survival is all that matters. The new cave has become home. It's not ideal, but it's safe enough for now. You've learned to adapt to its narrow spaces, the jagged rocks that jut out from the walls, and the cold that seeps in no matter how many furs you pile on top of you. You wake up every day to the same cycle, gather, hunt, forage, and then return to the fire. Sometimes the days feel like a repetitive loop, like a game that doesn't end. But each time you make it through, you realize you're one step closer to something bigger. You're surviving. And that's enough. But as the weeks go by, a subtle shift begins to take place within the tribe. There's a quiet unease in the air. It's not something you can easily pin down, but you can feel it in the way the others move, the way their eyes linger just a little too long on the horizon, as if something out of your control, is on its way. One evening, as the sun sinks behind the trees, a familiar figure appears at the edge of the clearing. It's an older man from your tribe, his face lined with worry. He carries news that you were dreading to hear. Another tribe has been spotted nearby. They're close, and they're armed. The thought of rival tribes isn't new. This land has always been shared by others, but this time, it feels different. The uncertainty in the air has become more pronounced. It's a quiet threat. There's no immediate danger, not yet, but it's clear that the balance has shifted. You gather with the others, sitting around the fire, your minds racing with the possibilities. What if they're hostile? What if they want your land, your cave, your food? There's no easy way to prepare for something like this. But one thing is clear, you won't back down. You've worked too hard to get to this point. The decision is made quickly. You'll fortify the cave, gather weapons, and prepare for whatever comes next. There's no room for indecision. If it comes to a fight, you'll be ready. If it comes to negotiation, you'll stand your ground. But in the back of your mind, you can't help but feel a flicker of doubt. Will it be enough? Over the next few days, there's a palpable tension in the air. Everyone moves with purpose, making sure the cave is as secure as possible, setting traps in case of an attack, and practicing with spears and knives. The quiet before the storm feels oppressive, as if the world is holding its breath. You can almost hear the pounding of your own heart, each beat a reminder that the next move is crucial. Survival is not just about the hunt anymore. It's about protecting what's yours. You lie awake at night, listening to the sounds of the forest. The usual noises, wind, rustling leaves, the occasional animal cry, are there, but they sound different. They're louder now, more insistent, as if the forest itself is warning you of something approaching. But you can't tell what it is. All you know is that the world outside your cave is shifting, and you can only hold your ground for so long. The next day brings more uncertainty. The rival tribe hasn't made its move, but the tension is thick. It's impossible to ignore the weight of it. Your tribe has done everything it can to prepare, but as night falls once again, you realize that the real battle isn't the one you'll fight with spears, it's the one you'll fight within yourself. The fear, the doubt, the knowledge that you can't control what's coming next. But there's no choice. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, you'll face whatever comes your way. Whether it's a fight or a challenge to your survival, you'll be ready. You have to be. And so, as the fire burns low, you settle into the cold floor of your new cave, the weight of the world pressing down on your chest. You close your eyes, trying to ignore the uncertainty, and sleep comes, fitfully, but it comes. Tomorrow is a new day, and tomorrow, you'll keep fighting. The morning comes too soon. You wake to the sound of the wind rustling through the trees and the distant chatter of birds. But there's an unfamiliar heaviness in the air today. The events of the night weigh on you like a stone in your stomach. The uncertainty, the preparation, the waiting, it's all coming to a head. You push yourself up from the cold floor of the cave, feeling the stiffness in your limbs from another restless night. But there's no time to linger on the discomfort. Outside, the world is still the same, but it feels different. The sun is weak today, barely breaking through the thick cloud cover that hangs over the horizon. The sky looks distant, almost indifferent to your worries. You gather your things, a spear, some dried meat, and the furs you've bundled together to keep you warm, and step out into the clearing. The tribe is already busy, but today, there's a sense of heightened urgency. You glance around at the faces of your fellow tribe members. They're working together, but there's something in their eyes, something unspoken. You can see the fear. It's in the way they hold their spears, the way they glance over their shoulders, as though expecting an attack at any moment. The anxiety is palpable. It's been days since the news about the rival tribe first reached you, and still, no one knows when they'll make their move. But everyone is ready, and everyone is on edge. There's no getting around it. This is what survival is all about. It's the constant balancing act between living in the moment and preparing for the worst. It's the fight against fear, against doubt, against the unknown. And no matter how strong your tribe is, no matter how much you've prepared, you're still vulnerable. The world outside your cave is bigger than you, and it can change in the blink of an eye. As the day wears on, you find yourself drawn to the edge of the clearing. Your instincts are telling you something. There's a feeling in the air, a sharpness, like the calm before a storm. You're not sure why, but you're compelled to look out toward the forest. It's strange how, in moments like these, the smallest details stand out. The rustling of leaves, the snap of a twig underfoot, the distant movement of a shadow in the trees. You keep your eyes trained on the horizon, trying to pierce the veil of uncertainty, trying to get a glimpse of what's coming. And then, just as you're starting to turn away, you see it. A figure. At the edge of the trees. It's distant, a shadow among shadows, but you can't mistake the silhouette of a person. Your heart jumps in your chest, your mind racing. Is it them? The rival tribe? You can't tell from here, but the urgency floods your body. It's time. This is it. You don't wait to see if they're alone or if there's more. You turn, motioning to the others, signaling for them to grab their spears. There's no time for hesitation. Your tribe has prepared, but now is the moment of truth. You can't afford to be weak, to second-guess yourself. You march toward the figure, heart pounding, knowing that whatever happens next will shape the fate of your people. As you close the distance, the figure grows clearer. It's not a large group, just one person, alone. You stop, your spear raised, unsure of their intentions. They don't seem to be hostile, but you can't take any chances. They stop too, staring at you with wide eyes. Their clothes are tattered, their face smeared with dirt. It's clear they've been traveling for a long time, and they don't appear to be armed. A moment of silence hangs in the air, heavy and thick. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, the stranger speaks. "I'm lost," they say, their eyes wide with exhaustion. "I've been wandering for days. Please. I mean no harm." You lower your spear slightly, your mind racing. This isn't what you expected. You've been preparing for a battle, but now, it seems like the only enemy here is hunger and exhaustion. The stranger is a traveler, someone who's been caught in the same brutal world that you have, struggling to survive. You realize, with a sinking feeling, that this is the reality of the wild. Survival isn't just about protecting what's yours. It's about knowing that everyone out here is fighting the same fight. You motion for them to follow you, signaling for the tribe to stand down. As the stranger enters the clearing, the other members of the tribe watch with wary eyes, their grips still tight on their spears. But there's no need for fear, not right now. The tribe is still strong. You can still stand together. The stranger sits by the fire, the warmth of it chasing away the cold in their bones. They share their story, how they've wandered from place to place, alone, searching for food, for safety, for a place to rest. You listen, and though their words are simple, they carry a weight of shared experience. You realize that survival isn't just a matter of territory or tribe. It's about compassion too. It's about offering help when you can, because sometimes, survival means reaching out a hand to another soul in need. As night falls and the fire flickers, you realize how little the world really changes. You're all still here, together, struggling, surviving. And maybe, just maybe, you can survive a little longer with each other's help. The next few days pass in a strange quiet. The stranger, who you've come to know as Koro, is a welcome addition to the tribe, though their presence brings its own complications. The others are cautious, unsure if they can trust someone who has wandered so far from their own people. But Koro's eyes tell a different story. They're tired, worn from the harsh conditions of the wild. They have no weapons, no food, no shelter. Their survival has been nothing more than a desperate struggle to keep going, and in their eyes, you see a reflection of your own journey. Despite the tension, you allow Koro to join in the tribe's daily tasks. They prove themselves quickly, showing skill in gathering plants and identifying which ones are safe to eat. The tribe slowly warms to them, and before long, Koro is working alongside you in the hunt, though not as an equal just yet. The old traditions of your tribe, where the strongest are the ones who lead, are still very much in place. But there's a shift, a subtle change in the dynamic. You start to see your tribe members with different eyes. Survival isn't just about physical strength, it's about adaptability, resourcefulness, and most importantly, unity. You begin to wonder if maybe your tribe could be stronger together, not just as individuals, but as a true collective. As the days stretch on, Koro shares more of their story. They speak of the land from which they came, a place that sounds not so different from your own. A tribe that hunted, fished, and foraged, much like yours. But their people were small, scattered, unable to keep up with the growing dangers of the world around them. The animals were growing scarcer, the predators bolder, and the weather harsher. Their tribe had fractured under the pressure, and Koro had been forced to leave in search of safety, a search that had brought them to you. You can't help but empathize. There are no guarantees in the wild. Each day is a new struggle, a new challenge. You know how it feels to have everything you've known, everything you've worked for, threatened by forces you can't control. Koro's story is one you could easily see reflected in your own life. One wrong turn, one bad season, and your tribe could be in the same position. It's a sobering thought, but it's one you can't ignore. One evening, as you sit by the fire, watching the last embers of the day flicker out, you notice something. Koro is looking at the horizon, their face distant, thoughtful. You can tell they're lost in their thoughts, weighed down by the memory of their journey. "Do you ever wonder if it's worth it?" Koro asks, their voice low but steady. "The struggle, the constant fight to stay alive. Sometimes I wonder if it's ever enough." The question lingers in the air, and for a moment, you don't have an answer. You've asked yourself the same thing, especially on nights when the cold feels unbearable, when the hunger gnaws at your insides, when you feel like you're just running in place. But then you think about the tribe, your people, and you realize that the struggle isn't just about survival. It's about something more. It's about the bond you share with those around you, the knowledge that you're not alone in this fight. The world might be unforgiving, but as long as you're together, you have a chance. "We keep going because we have to," you finally say. "Because it's all we can do. It's not always easy, and it's not always fair. But we keep going, and we keep fighting, because that's the only way we can make it." Koro nods slowly, and for the first time since arriving, they smile, a faint, tired smile, but it's a smile nonetheless. "I think I understand now." And so, life in the tribe continues. The days are long, filled with the rhythm of survival, hunting, foraging, gathering. You watch Koro slowly begin to integrate into the tribe, finding their place among the others. They're still a newcomer, but the tribe feels different now. You're not just surviving day by day. You're building something together. You're learning from each other, growing stronger as a whole. Maybe, just maybe, you're becoming more than just a group of individuals fighting to survive. You're becoming a community. The nights are still cold, the days still long, but there's a warmth that comes from knowing that, no matter what the future holds, you're not facing it alone. Your tribe, your family is there. And that is enough. Time moves on, the weeks blurring into one another like the changing seasons. The tribe settles into its new rhythm, hunting, foraging, building. The uncertainty that once hung in the air has softened a little, but there's still a tension there, a reminder that survival is never guaranteed. The cold comes earlier each evening, and the days are growing shorter. You're not sure if it's the encroaching winter or just the weight of the world pressing down on your shoulders, but the sense of urgency has never really gone away. Koro, once a stranger, now feels like a part of the tribe. They've proven themselves, not just through their skills in the hunt but through their quiet strength. They understand the value of patience, of doing what needs to be done, no matter how hard it is. There's a bond forming, a shared understanding that has made your tribe stronger, more cohesive. You've learned something important over these past few weeks. Survival isn't just about what you can do alone. It's about how you can come together and face the world as one. But even as things settle, There's always the nagging feeling in the back of your mind. The world is changing. The animals are scarcer, the forest quieter. You've heard whispers of other tribes, of conflicts brewing over hunting grounds and resources. Your tribe has made its place in this world, but how long can you hold on to it? How long can you keep the world at bay? One evening, as the tribe gathers around the fire, you notice something unusual, a figure on the edge of the clearing. It's a person, a man, walking toward you. The firelight flickers across his face, and you see the weariness in his eyes. He's not from your tribe. He's a stranger, but he doesn't look like he's come to fight. His clothes are torn, his face lined with the exhaustion of a long journey. The tribe watches silently as he approaches. There's a wariness in the air, another stranger, another potential threat, but you can't bring yourself to fear him. He looks tired, hungry, like he's been traveling for days without rest. There's something in his eyes, something familiar, that makes you pause. He's like you, like all of you. He's been running, surviving, trying to make it through the wild. The man stops just short of the fire, and you can see the relief in his face as he finally speaks. "I don't mean any harm," he says. "I've been traveling for days, alone. I'm just looking for a place to rest. I've got no tribe, no family. Just trying to survive." The silence hangs heavy for a moment. The tribe looks at each other, uncertain. It's dangerous to take in strangers, especially when your resources are already stretched thin. But you see something in this man's face, the same desperation, the same hunger that you've felt. He's not asking for a fight. He's asking for a chance. After a long pause, you step forward. "You can stay," you say, your voice steady. "But you'll have to help. No one here is given a free ride. If you want to survive with us, you'll work." The man nods, a grateful, weary smile breaking across his face. He doesn't hesitate. "I'll do whatever I can." And just like that, another stranger becomes part of the tribe. You know it won't be easy. There's always the risk that a new member could upset the balance, could take more than they give. But you also know that sometimes, survival isn't just about fighting off predators or hunting the next meal. Sometimes, it's about extending a hand to someone who needs it. That night, you sit around the fire, the newest member of your tribe sitting quietly beside you. The crackling flames dance in the center of the circle, casting flickering shadows on the faces of your people. The atmosphere is different now, warmer somehow. There's no arguing, no tension in the air. For a brief moment, the tribe feels complete. You are all together, united by the same struggle, the same will to survive. The man, whose name is Kazi, speaks softly to you. "I never thought I'd find a place like this. A place where people care enough to share, even when they don't have much." You glance at the others, the familiar faces of your tribe. You realize that, despite everything, the cold, the hunger, the fear of what might come, this is what survival really means. It's not just about living another day. It's about finding connection, finding a sense of home in a world that's anything but forgiving. As you sit there, the fire warming your bones and the sounds of the night settling in around you, you know one thing for sure: tomorrow, the world will keep turning, and you will keep surviving. But you won't be alone. Not anymore. Days turn to weeks, and the cycle continues, as it always does. The seasons change, creeping ever closer to winter. The chill in the air is no longer a distant threat. It's here, wrapping its fingers around the bones of the earth, making the nights colder, the mornings harder to rise to. The warmth of the fire has never felt more precious, and you're beginning to realize just how small your world really is. The tribe, once a collection of disparate people trying to survive, has grown into something more, a family forged in the fire of struggle and survival. Kazi, the stranger who arrived with nothing but the clothes on his back, has settled in well. He's proven himself time and again, gathering firewood, hunting, and working side by side with the others. It's clear that he's done this before. He understands the way of the wild, the way of survival, just like you. Slowly but surely, he's become part of the tribe. And as the days drag on, it becomes clear that this new sense of unity is what will carry you through the harder times ahead. There's no telling what tomorrow will bring, what new challenges will arrive, What new dangers will threaten? But there's something about the tribe now, something stronger than just the need to survive. It's the bond that's been forged, not just in shared work, but in shared experience. You know, deep in your bones, that the others have your back. The old fears, of hunger, of predators, of the unknown, are still there, lurking in the background. But the weight of those fears feels a little lighter when you know you're not carrying it alone. One cold evening, as the fire crackles and pops, you notice something different in the air. The atmosphere feels charged, like a storm is rolling in. It's more than just the weather, it's the sense that something is about to happen. You're sitting near the fire, lost in thought, when you hear the unmistakable sound of footsteps outside the camp. At first, you think it's just one of the tribe members coming back from the hunt, but the footfalls are too heavy, too deliberate. They don't sound like the usual, familiar rhythm of your people. You stiffen, instinctively reaching for your spear. The others seem to sense it too, and a quiet tension settles over the tribe. You stand, moving to the edge of the camp, your senses on high alert. The forest is still, eerily so. No animals, no rustling leaves. Just the sound of those approaching footsteps. Then, out of the shadows, a figure emerges. At first, you think it's one of the rival tribe members you've feared, but as the figure steps into the firelight, you see that it's not a threat. It's a familiar face, one you didn't expect to see again. It's Koro. For a moment, your heart lurches in your chest, your mind racing to understand why they've returned. But then you see the expression on their face, a look of determination mixed with something darker, something urgent. They walk towards you, their steps quick, but their body language is guarded. "I have to leave," Koro says, their voice low but steady. "There's something coming. I don't know exactly what, but I've seen signs. You need to prepare." The words hit you like a blow to the stomach. Prepare? You've spent so much time just surviving, just keeping the tribe together, that the idea of something else, something even worse than what you've already faced, is too much to process. Koro continues, their voice trembling slightly now. "I don't know if they'll come here directly, but I know they're close. They're after resources. They won't stop until they have everything." The other members of the tribe are gathered now, watching intently as Koro speaks. There's a murmur of concern, a ripple of fear that passes through the group. But there's also something else in the air, something stronger than fear. It's resolve. You glance around at your people. The tribe is small, but it's strong. The work you've done, the bond you've built, has turned you into something more than just a collection of survivors. You've become a unit of force. And now, facing this new threat, you know that there's no turning back. You won't run. You'll fight for what you've built, for the family you've created. "You're not leaving," you tell Koro, your voice firm. "We're all in this together." Koro nods, their face softening. "Then we fight," they say simply. "We fight for each other. For what we've built. For our future." And just like that, the tribe is united again, this time, not just in survival, but in defiance. You've faced hardships, challenges, and uncertainty, but this is different. This time, you won't just survive. You'll stand and protect what's yours. The fire burns brighter, crackling in the cold night air, as the tribe begins to prepare. The fight is coming, and you will be ready. The next few days pass in a blur of preparation. The mood in the tribe is tense, but there's a shared sense of purpose. The knowledge that something, someone, could come for you and your people is a heavy weight, but it's also a call to action. The time for waiting, for hiding in the shadows, is over. The time for survival has become the time for defense, for standing your ground and fighting for the future. You begin fortifying the cave, adding new layers of protection. Branches are stacked at the entrance, creating a barrier. Rocks are placed around the perimeter, marking the boundaries. Everyone in the tribe has a role to play. The hunters sharpen their spears, while the gatherers work on finding materials to build stronger defenses. Even the children are tasked with carrying small stones and twigs to help reinforce the barricade. It's a strange kind of unity, everyone coming together with a single goal in mind, to protect what you fought so hard to build. Koro is at the center of it all, helping direct the efforts. They're no longer the outsider. They've proven themselves as part of the tribe, not just through their skills, but through their leadership. You watch them organize the others, their voice steady, their actions purposeful. They're a natural leader, not because they demand it, but because the tribe listens. They trust Koro, and you do too. As the days pass, the preparations grow more frantic. The tribe is readying itself, not just for an attack, but for a change. You've spent so much time just getting by, hunting and gathering, that you never stop to think about what the future would look like. What would happen when the tribe was no longer just trying to survive, but trying to hold on to everything it had built? You start to wonder if the world will ever allow you to rest, if it will ever stop testing your tribe's strength, or if you'll always be fighting for the next day. The night before the potential attack, you sit by the fire, surrounded by your tribe. The cold of the evening bites at your skin, but the fire burns warm. The scent of roasted meat fills the air, and for a brief moment, it feels almost normal, like the world hasn't changed, like tomorrow won't bring another fight, another test of your tribe's strength. But you know better. Tomorrow is coming, and it won't be easy. There's no way to predict what will happen, but there's one thing you know for sure: your tribe will stand. As you sit in silence, the fire crackling in the background, you glance at the faces around you. These are the people who have been with you through it all. The ones who have shared in the hardships, the ones who have become family in ways you never imagined possible. Koro, the stranger, now sits with you, one of you. There's a quiet sense of peace in that, even as the storm looms on the horizon. You know, Koro says quietly, breaking the silence. I've been thinking about all of this, the fight, the survival. I used to think that survival meant just getting by, doing whatever I could to stay alive. But now I see it differently. Survival isn't just about getting by. It's about protecting what matters, about keeping each other safe. You nod, understanding exactly what Koro means. Survival, in its truest sense, isn't just about the next meal or the next shelter. It's about the people you fight for, the ones who stand beside you, who make it worth fighting for in the first place. The bond you share with your tribe is what has kept you going, what has kept you strong. And now, that bond will be tested. But you don't fear it. You're not afraid anymore. You have your people, your tribe, your family. And that, you realize, is enough to face whatever comes next. As the night grows colder and the stars stretch across the sky, you settle down for sleep. There's no telling what tomorrow will bring, but one thing is certain: you'll face it together. The fire may flicker and die, but your tribe's strength will never falter. Tomorrow is the unknown. But it is also the next chapter in your journey, the journey of survival, of strength, and of the unbreakable bond between those who fight together. The dawn arrives in a hush, like the world itself is holding its breath. The fire is low, the warmth fading into the cold morning air. You wake early, your body stiff from the hard ground, your mind already racing with the weight of the day ahead. The tribe is still asleep, but you know that won't last long. There's no more time to waste. The preparations you've made in the past few days, fortifying the cave, sharpening weapons, gathering supplies, are all that stand between you and whatever comes next. The sun peeks over the horizon, casting long, golden shadows across the clearing. For a moment, everything feels still. The usual noises of the forest, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, seem muted, as if even the earth knows that something important is about to unfold. You stand for a moment, taking in the quiet, feeling the weight of the decision you've made. The tribe has prepared, but there's no way to know what will happen now. You can't predict the outcome, but you can control what you do next. The first member of the tribe stirs, followed by another. Slowly, everyone wakes up, gathering around the fire as usual. But today, there's a shift. The faces are more serious, the energy more focused. There's no chatter, no joking. Just quiet determination. Koro steps forward, their face grim but steady. It's time, they say, the words heavy with meaning. We've done everything we can to prepare. Now we face whatever comes. You nod, your heart thumping in your chest, but there's no hesitation in your movements. You've led the tribe to this point, and now you will lead them through whatever happens next. The day drags on, a strange mixture of waiting and watching. The forest is unnervingly still. You can't help but feel that the world is holding its breath with you, waiting for the first move. Your tribe stands ready, alert, waiting for the signal. And then, as the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, you see it. Movement at the edge of the forest. At first, it's barely noticeable, a flicker of movement, a shadow in the trees. Your pulse quickens, your grip tightening on your spear. It's them. The rival tribe. They emerge from the trees not as a large force, but as a small group, 5 or 6 people, walking steadily toward your camp. You don't move. The tension in the air is thick, but you know that you can't afford to act too quickly. This could be a confrontation, or it could be a conversation. You have no way of knowing, but you're prepared for either outcome. The rival tribe members stop just outside the clearing, their eyes scanning the surroundings. They're armed, but not aggressively so. It's clear that they've been on the move for a long time, too. The leader of their group steps forward, a tall man with a scar running across his cheek. He looks weary but resolute. "I'm not here to fight," he calls out. His voice carries, clear and firm, but there's a wariness to it, as if he's trying to gauge your reaction. "We're just looking for a place to rest. We don't want trouble. But we need food. We need shelter." The words hang in the air. For a long moment you say nothing. The tribe behind you remains still, waiting for your decision. It's the same test you've faced before. What will you do with a stranger, with someone who needs what you have? You glance at Koro, who stands just behind you. Their eyes are calm, but you can see the question in them. Do we trust them? The leader of the rival tribe shifts his weight, eyes narrowing slightly. "We've seen your smoke. We know you have enough to share. We don't want to fight. We just need a chance." You step forward, slowly. "You can stay," you say, your voice steady. "But you'll work for it. No one here gets anything without contributing." The leader nods. "We'll work. We have no choice." And with that,